The Premier League draws to a close. Juventus make it 9 in a row. Messi to stay at Barca, a transfer roundup, and today's Emoji Mondays all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So before we start, yes, I did have a lovely holiday. Thank you so much to all of you who asked, and thank you so much to all the support that you showed Angelina last week as well. She'll be around loads more on the channel and all the Q&As, all the other videos that we're up to. So yeah, thanks so much for your support, but let's get straight into the daily news. So first off, the Premier League is finished. 38 games have gone by, and almost 11 months after we started last season, we've managed to come to a close of this campaign, and Liverpool won the title. Who would have thought? No, that's not the shocking story over the weekend. Not really shocking, but rather upsetting for a few teams, and a glorious weekend for a few others. Manchester United and Chelsea made it into the Champions League with a third and fourth spots finish after 2-0 victories on the final weekend. And this meant that Leicester, after doing so well all season, dropped into 5th position. Like at the beginning of the season, if you said to Brendan Rodgers and his Leicester side, hey, you're going to finish 5th, Europa League, have a pretty good season, they probably would have taken it. And with Jamie Vardy finishing top goal scorer and taking home the Golden Boot. But after doing so well before the restart, you really would have thought that they'd finish in the Champions League spot, but they didn't. As for Wolves, things got even worse for them as they dropped out of the top 6 into 7th position and will now rely on Chelsea to beat Arsenal in the FA Cup final to ensure they've got a Europa League place. Tottenham were the beneficiaries of that, finishing in 6th after a 1-1 draw at Crystal Palace. But the other end of the table, that's where things didn't go so well for Watford and for Bournemouth. But don't forget that even though you could look at the last weekend of the season and say, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, they should have done a lot of things in the 37 games before it. Watford have lost 6 out of the last 9. It's not good enough form, and Bournemouth, well, after a good start to the season, they then lost 19 of 25 matches, and yeah, that's really relegation form. What it did mean though is that Aston Villa were the beneficiaries and the ones that managed to stay up. A 1-1 draw on the last game of the season away at West Ham meant that Dean Smith's side will be in the Premier League next season, and maybe they have just a small hope of holding on to Jack Grealish. Now, he's a rather interesting topic because for me, I've always said he's a great player, and all of these teams that are looking to swipe him up, the top 6 mainly are the ones that are interested. Probably Everton will spend a load of money on him as well. I really think they deserve to have a good player, and Jack Grealish definitely deserves the move. All that you're saying is overrated. He's literally put in the performances all season. On the final day, scored the goal that has dragged his team to safety. There is no way you could ever doubt the man. Anyway, on top of this, and talking of individual brilliant performances, Kevin De Bruyne was fantastic against Norwich, and if you watched any football this season, you know he's been brilliant all season, so how on earth did he not win Player of the Season? Like, yeah, it's an individual award, it doesn't really matter that much, it's all about the team awards. Jordan Henderson did well, don't get me wrong, he had a brilliant season for his standards. Premier League, that was Liverpool's. He was the captain of a Premier League winning side. Yes, you put 2 and 2 together and he's the best player, but honestly, that's just not how it worked. 13 goals and 20 assists, a record equaling 20 assists for Kevin De Bruyne. For me, he had to be player of the season. Anyway, on top of this, and as I mentioned, Vardy won the Golden Boot for the most goals with 23, and Ederson, the Manchester City goalkeeper, won the Golden Glove for the most clean sheets. Moving away from the Premier League though, and to Serie A, where Juventus won the title. Again, not really shocking news, but the form of Cristiano Ronaldo, my word, that is something else. 31 goals for the season now, as Juve made it 9 in a row, and it's another title for them, another title for Ronaldo, and he's chasing down Ciro Immobile to try and be top goal scorer. Although on the weekend's evidence, that's probably not going to happen. There's 2 games left, and Immobile, with a hat-trick against Verona, is now 3 goals clear of Cristiano Ronaldo, and what's been an astonishing season for him. Even though he scores loads of goals, 34, with 2 games to go, is pretty darn ridiculous. Gonzalo Higuain's record of 36 goals in a single Serie A campaign is well within his sights. And for those of you who say Immobile is brilliant and all that Cristiano Ronaldo does is score penalties, well, have a look at the fact that Immobile has 15 penalties this season, and I love it. I think it's great. If your team gets 15 penalties a season and you know that you've got a striker who's good enough and confident enough to put 15 of them away, sure, why not? Honestly, people getting abused for scoring penalties. What has the world come to? Anyway, it's a victory for Juventus and a victory in the league for them, and yeah, you kind of expected it to happen. The season could get even better though, despite the fact they lost the Coppa Italia final, as they still have a second leg against Lyon to turn around and could go further in the Champions League. Moving on though, and to, well, the arch nemesis, as you will, of Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and it looks like he'll be staying at Barcelona for one more season at least. President Josep Bartomeu said he believes Messi will sign a new contract with it expiring next summer, and that he said many times he wants to retire at the club, and that's what I can kind of see happening. Yes, everyone's been disagreeing with Bartomeu recently, and Messi does only have 12 months to run this contract, but this is Messi and Barcelona. It's like bacon and eggs, waking up and having a coffee and all sorts of other pairings that I can't be bothered to think of. This is Lionel Messi. It'd be so weird to see him anywhere else. Obviously, this is in complete contrast to other reports that have said he's kind of fed up at Barcelona. I just can't see it happening. I mean, I know Bartomeu said there may not be many transfers this summer unless they can do swap deals like the one involving Arthur and Pjanic from Juventus. But even then, even if they do have a depleted squad, the Argentine will probably hang on for one more season at least. Personally, I can only see him going back to Argentina after he leaves the Nou Camp. Next up, though, I want a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news. Roy Hodgson has said that Wilfried Zaha has his heart set on leaving Crystal Palace. Southampton have extended the contract of captain James Ward-Prowse until 2025. Edison Cavani looks to be moving in on a deal which will see him join Benfica in Portugal. And lastly but not least, Liverpool have spoken to Schalke about their Turkish centre-back Ozan Kabak. So lastly but not least, we come to this week's Emoji Mondays, where at Onefootball we throw a couple of emojis down on some of the weekend's action. Now, for the best player, I spoke him out earlier. He's the best player this weekend, and for the whole season, Kevin De Bruyne. Watch the goals. The first one against Norwich, some incredible footwork, and he puts it in the top corner like it's nothing, and he pretty much did the same for the second goal, but first time. And that's all without forgetting the incredible pass for the Raheem Sterling goal. 2 goals, 1 assist. De Bruyne is definitely the player of the weekend. Moving into the craziest moment, though, and this is something you may have seen floating about the internet. Jesse Lingard scored a goal. He scored a goal, meaning that he didn't go a whole season without a goal or an assist, and it's utterly broken the hearts of 2 football fans who apparently put a bet on that said Lingard wouldn't score or assist for this whole season, and he does so in the 98th minute on the final day of the season. Honestly, that's kind of where his career is at right now. Him scoring has become absolutely mental. So with the best player and the crazy moment out of the way, we get to the best result, and that, as I mentioned before, goes to Aston Villa. Jack Grealish scoring the goal, Aston Villa getting the point they needed to stave off relegation. It's a fantastic result for the club as a whole. So there you have it. That is all from me for today, and feels good to be back. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the weekend's football and the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're at it, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.